All right, guys, welcome to the Kettlebell Fundamentals Masterclass. Today, we're going to be going over all the basics that you need to get your kettlebell training going. This is going to be everything that you need to burn fat, build muscle, none of the crazy fancy stuff, just the basics. The basics is all you need. We're going to be going over the deadlift, squat, row, clean, press, and we will also be going over the swing, two-hand swing and single arm swings. And we're gonna get right to it. We're gonna get right to it. Hope you're warmed up. We'll do a quick goblet squat. So this is how you grab the kettlebell with two hands. Two hands. Usually the kettlebell has a little marks right here by the body. So we got the body, the horns, and then the handle is the thing that's on top. So handle, horns, the body. You want your hands as close to the body as possible. So from here, we're just gonna go down into a squat, and you're gonna push the knees out, and then we're gonna rock to the left, we're gonna rock to the right. We're just opening up our hips, getting ready for some movement. So from here, you're gonna drop the kettlebell down. Good. All right. The very first thing you gotta learn in any type of lifting, this gonna translate to any type of tool you use, barbell, dumbbells, it doesn't really matter, but it's the deadlift. So for the deadlift, you are gonna want to step right on top of the bell. Right on top of the bell, the kettlebell should be by your ankles. So from here, you're gonna pinch your shoulder blades back and you're gonna push the hips back. And as your chest drops, you are looking towards the floor. Wherever your chest is facing, that's where you should be facing. You should not be looking forward like this. You're going to put a lot of strain on your neck. Here, you'll be your strongest. So from here, you're going to grab the kettlebell, come up. As your chest faces forward, you start facing forward. So look at my eyes. Chest is down. I'm looking down. Chest is up. I'm looking up. I'm not letting my shoulders round like this, or even worse, my lower back. I want to be right here in this position. Tap, come back up. When you bring the kettlebell down, you want to bring it towards your heels. Right here, squeeze that ass. You don't want to bring the hips too down. You want to be in a hinge position. So right here, minimal bending of the knee, so you get a good stretch on your hamstrings and your glutes. That is your deadlift. That is your foundation. If you're lost with that, then you really got to practice that. You really got to master that before we move into the other things. Now, from here, we got the deadlift down. We're going to start building up. So we got this down, shoulders back, flat back. We're pushing through our heels, squeezing the butt at the top. Now from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do exact that, but we're gonna do it quick, and we're gonna bring the kettlebell to the chest. As we bring the kettlebell to the chest, your hands go from the handle to the horns. So this is a clean. This is our dead clean. So to the ground, pull up, and you make that switch. Down, make the switch. You have to do this fast. You have to do this fast. You actually open up your hands. After you pull, you slightly open up your hands so you can slide your hands down to the body of the kettlebell. Again, clean. Good. You want to be explosive. The same position of the deadlift, but now we're just bringing it to the chest. You're locking the hips at the top. Your chest is facing down when you're down. Your face is facing up when you're up. So now that we got it up here, now that you could bring the kettlebell properly to the chest, then we could go into our regular squats. Regular squats, you want to keep an upright chest as much as you can. The elbows tight to the ribs. From here, push the hips back, bend the knees, get to 90 degrees on the knees, and then come up. Slowly come down, and then come up. The squat is another foundational one that you really have to master. Like, If you haven't mastered your deadlift or your goblet squat, then that is the only focus you should be doing. All right, so let's practice. This is kind of like a follow along. I want you guys to practice right now. So we're gonna do 3, 3, and 3 before we move on. 3 deadlifts, 3 cleans, 3 squats. Here we go. Deadlifts. 1, 2, 3. Clean. 1, 2, 3. And we go from the squats. 1, 2, 3. Good. So there you have a little complex. Complex mixing in a couple exercises back to back to back. It's like a superset. So, all right. Next thing we got is the press. 2-hand press. You got your clean down. This is the start of the pressing position, and you're just gonna punch it up. Boom. You want to lock the elbows. You want to lock your hips. A lot of people think about the press, oh, it's just a shoulder exercise. This right here, your legs, it's the foundation. So you're not going to be very stable if your knees are a little bent, if your hips are a little back. You're going to be all wobbly, especially when we go into single arm stuff. So what you want is you want to lock everything down. So by this, I mean the knees, lock. The hips, locked. Squeeze the ass. That's your foundation. Squeeze it, and then press up. So here we go. This one is hard to mess up, but it's all about the foundation. Lock the hips, lock the knees. Inhale, exhale as you go up. Slowly bring it down. Lock the elbows. You have to lock the elbows at the top. Now this press is a little awkward because you're pressing up, the weight is kind of coming down, your hands could slip. So it's very hard to lock the elbow completely and have your arms right next to your ears with a very heavy kettlebell. I can't do this with a very heavy kettlebell good, just because of the dynamic and the anatomy of the belt. So keep that in mind. Now, single arm, that doesn't apply. Okay, that's the press. From there, we're gonna go into, actually, let's go into a march. So one thing you guys gotta do every single week is you guys gotta squat, you guys gotta hinge, you guys gotta push, whether you're pushing horizontally or you're pushing vertically. You guys gotta pull horizontally or pull like a pull up or a lat pull down um, vertically. And you also gotta carry. Carry is the thing that most people overlook. We do it every single day. Carry shit around. So this is a suitcase carry. It could be done with 2 kettlebells. I'm doing it with 1. I'm usually people walk. If you're tight in space, just march like I'm doing right now. I don't have space right now, so I just march. I hold it for a second. I bring my knee to hip height, and I just march. Typically, this is the heaviest you're gonna be able to go. Like, go very heavy. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna want to lean. My body wants to lean towards the side of the kettlebell. You have to fight that. Fight the rotation, stay center, and march with control. Now, that is a suitcase. If I had 2 kettlebells, this would be a farmer's carry, or actually a farmer's march. Then we got the goblet march over here, chest height. To make this more difficult, you could lift it up and look through the window of the kettlebell. This is a high rack march. High rack march. Now, other ones that we could do that are single arm is the rack. So this right here we're gonna get into, but the rack, you want the elbow tucked to the rib, you want the knuckles facing up. You do not want your wrist to be this way. You don't want the broken wrist. You want the handle to be as low as possible in your palm. You should be able to open and close, knuckles to the roof, should be comfortable right here. This is your rack. So on the rack, we could go to a press, squat, but right now, we're just gonna march. I'm going over all the marches just real quick. And then last one, overhead march, where you lock the elbow. Lock the elbow completely, and then you march in place. So you guys need to make sure you're sprinkling that into your training every single week. Every single week. We do that every day. So you should be training it. All right. Moving on. Now we're gonna go over everything we just did, but now single arm. Single arm. So there's levels to this shit. Kettlebell training. First level is one kettlebell, two hands, which we actually I missed the swing. I missed the swing. Hold up. All right, we got the kettlebell swing, the famous kettlebell swing, the setup. So the kettlebell swing is like a fast deadlift. It's the same motion. You're doing the same thing as a deadlift. That's why it's so important that if you don't know how to deadlift, you should get better at your deadlift before you go into the swing. You're gonna take a step back from the kettlebell. You're gonna have your shoulders back, get into that good athletic position, tilt the kettlebell towards you, and put the shoulder blades back. You're gonna pull the kettlebell so hard that your wrist and forearm touches your groin area. As soon as it hits, you bring the house and stand tall. By house, I mean the ass, the glutes. Lock the hips, stand tall, let the kettlebell go to shoulder height, and then have patience. Have patience. Have patience. Do not bend yet. You're gonna wait to the very last moment where it's about to hit you in the private areas, and then you're gonna hinge again and then continue. But you gotta have that patience. If you bend too early, the kettlebell's gonna be all the way over here. All of that force is gonna go to your lower back, and that's why your lower back hurts. So here we go. Let me demonstrate. Shoulders back. Pull hard. Notice my breathing. I'm inhaling, exhale. Inhale, exhale. That should be the pattern. But you gotta have that patience. That is the number one thing people fuck up on the kettlebell swing. They're not patient enough. They're not patient enough. And some people go too low as well. Like they go here, kind of like a squat or something like this. That's why your target should be wrist or forearm to the groin area right here. This is the position that you want. Boom, boom, boom. This is where you want to be. This is that power stance. You're engaging your hamstrings, your glutes. Boom. Come up with power. Now at the very end, so the kettlebell swing is horizontally and vertically powered. So as you hike it, it's forward and back. But then at the very end, you want to think about the ground like it's a leg press and boom, push the ground away from you. So horizontal force at the very end, boom, vertical force up and down. You should not be leaning back. You should be standing tall. That is the swing. Now we can move to single arm stuff. See if we have any comments, concerns, questions. We're running this thing live. We got the live Zoom, live TikTok, and live IG. All right, here we go. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. All right, single arm deadlift. Same principles from the two hand deadlift. Now the kettlebell is gonna be towards one side. And the key thing here, the main difference here is that your body's gonna want to rotate. You have to fight the rotation. So check me out. This is what the body wants to do. Look at my chest. This is crooked. I'm like slanted towards that way. So what you have to do is fight the rotation and right here. Now I'm straight. Now my torso is straight. And that's what you want to keep as you go up and down on the deadlift. You don't want to start doing this lazy shit where you should start rotating without even noticing it. Vibe the rotation, engage those anti-rotational muscles, the core, and same deal. Shoulders back, get the kettlebell towards the heels, come up, squeeze the ass. That is a single arm deadlift. Now from here, we will go into the row. The row is very crucial, very important. It's one of those foundational movement patterns where you gotta pull. So from here, very similar to that deadlift position, you're here and you're getting again into that deadlift position. Why is so important? Hips back, shoulders back. This is the position. And all I want to do is grab the kettlebell, keep the elbow tight to the rib, and glide it. Glide the elbow through the rib. My chest is facing down, so I'm looking down. Grab the kettlebell, squeeze out the palm, and row, row, glide it. Elbow should be gliding to the rib. Now, same thing here. So whenever you're working with one kettlebell on one side, you want to squeeze out the palm. You want to squeeze out the palm. Your body's going to want to lean towards one way. The kettlebell is only on one side. So to get more recruitment and engagement on the other side, you squeeze the other hand. So if I'm rowing, I squeeze this other hand to create tension, and then I row. And that's going to go for every single exercise that you do. All right. Moving on from here, we're going to go into the dead clean. We're going to go into the dead clean. So the dead clean is going to be a mix of the deadlift and the row. The upper body, the lower body is doing this. The upper body or the arm is doing this, is rowing. So as I'm rowing, I'm standing up. And one drill I want you to practice right now, we're going to do it right now, is the gunslinger, which is exactly that, mixing the deadlift and the row. So go here, I stand tall and I row, and then I'm going to catch right here. This is the gunslinger. Catch, put it down. Catch, put it down. Catch, put it down. Now, what's going to happen now for the actual clean, the kettlebell's going to go around your arm into the outside, and that's where it's going to go. So the first one, you want to guide it yourself. So you catch and guide it into that rack. Go again, catch, guide it. And now you can start guiding it a little bit less and just use one arm. And there we got our clean. So guys, big thing on the clean is if you pull very hard, but you don't loosen up your grip, the thing is gonna flip over and it's gonna slam your wrist. So as you pull, you gotta pull hard enough so it comes up, but then you have to relax your grip. So if I'm here and I'm squeezing the hell out of the handle, I'm actually opening my hand a little bit. That way the kettlebell could rotate inside my hand and go into the clean. You're not seeing this. You don't see this on IG. You don't see this. Not many people talk about it either. Let's see if I can get very close. So if I'm here, I'm opening my hand so the kettlebell could go around the wrist and form, and therefore have a smooth landing. If I grip it very hard, this is what's gonna happen. Boom. And that sucks. And that's gonna traumatize you. So don't be doing the death grip. Pull hard, relax your grip, let it rotate, catch softly. But before all of that, use your other hand to guide you. Use your other hand to assist you. Leave that ego at the door. All right, so now we know the dead clean. Now we're gonna go into the hike clean or regular clean. We just did the dead clean. Now we're just gonna do the clean where we start in front of us, just like the swing. So from here, just like the swing, we hike it. Wrist and forearm touches your groin area. Guys, when we hike things for any movement, swing, clean, whatever, you also want to fight that rotation. So you don't want to do this. The kettlebell's gonna want to do this. You're gonna want to rotate the torso. It's just gonna happen naturally. Fight that rotation. Fight that rotation. You can rotate if that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to train, but you're gonna get the most benefits if you fight that rotation and like get that real core engagement. So here, not here, here, not here. So we hike it and then we row it. We open up the grip so the kettlebell can rotate around. Same, same deal. Let's start with the gunslinger. Assist your way to the clean. Assist your way into the clean. Now do it on your own. Let that kettlebell rotate so it has a smooth landing. That is the clean. That is the clean. It takes practice. It takes practice. So make sure you practice. Make sure you use the other hand. Use the other hand and assist you. So here we go. After that, we got the squat. Same deal with the squat. On this side, it's just a squat. Everything else stays the same. Now the only thing difference is you have this free hand, create tension, squeeze it. This kettlebell is creating tension all on my left side. There's not that much tension on my right side. I want to create it to create some type of symmetry. Squeeze. That way I don't lean to the left or fall off and I keep my center mass in the center. So you're here, create tension. Another way you could create tension is through the feet. So if you pretend like the floor is made out of paper and you're trying to split your legs, they're not gonna move, but just creating that tension, like separating your legs. Like if someone tried to push my knee in, it's not going to move. I'm pushing them out. And then you come up for the squat. Woo! That's the squat. Main thing about the squat, make sure you have that good rack, elbow tight, vertical forearm. You want the elbow right underneath the wrist. And that's where the kettlebell sits. Okay, now from here we're gonna go into the press. We know how to clean it now. We're just gonna clean it. I'm gonna take a knee here to make sure you guys can see the very top. Wait, then in front over here. So this is the rack right here. Check this out. The inside of my wrist is facing to the left, to the inside of me. As I press up, I'm slowly rotating, and now the inside of my wrist is facing forward. It's a 90-degree rotation. As I come down, I let it rotate. As I come up, I rotate again. It's a 90-degree rotation. You got to do it. You got to open up that shoulder girdle so you can go full extension. Lock the elbow 100% completely. Bicep should be right next to the ear. If you look at me sideways, you can't see my bicep. I mean, you can't see my ear. My arm is covering it. That's how it should be. Nice and control. Bring the elbow to the rib. Press up. Nice and control. That's how you press. And of course, any pressing, I was on one knee there, but when you're standing, you gotta squeeze the ass. Lock the knees, lock the hips, create tension, and then go. And again, you gotta squeeze out the palm, create tension. Boom, boom. If this side is all goosey, then you're gonna start leaning and shit like that, looking all sloppy. Foundation, lock it in, lock the hand, rest. All right, last thing we got on today's masterclass. Oh, this went pretty fast. I'm here to drop the value, the secrets. So thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are getting tons of value, no fucking fluffness. No fucking bullshit. All right, so single arm swing, same thing. You're gonna hike it, but now we have this other arm. So if the kettlebell's in front of me, I want to start with my hand right here, and then when I swing it in between the legs, this other hand goes behind. It's symmetry. So if I'm here, shoot. When I come up, this other hand goes up. I like to just create a fist right here. And I'm like, boom. This is my way of doing things. To start, to get used to this, you can go and reach and just touch the kettlebell. You're here, boom, touch the kettlebell, throw it back. But you have to throw it back. If you do it, you're just here and you do this, or even fucking worse, you put your hand on your thigh like a lazy piece of shit. No, I'm just kidding. Not just kidding. Just kidding about that. Just kidding. Um, you're not gonna generate momentum. You're not gonna be able to push as much weight as you could with the power. You're not gonna be able to generate power. With this, you're generating momentum. So check me out. Shoulders back, 2 steps behind the kettlebell. Tilt the kettlebell towards you. When you pull the kettlebell, you don't want the kettlebell going right to the middle. You want it to the side of your thigh. So if the kettlebell's on the right side of my hand, on my right hand, I want this on the right thigh, towards the middle of my right thigh. Not like deep in there, right in the middle. You want to keep it on one side and you want to avoid rotation. So from here, I'm going to do the left side. You can see this non-working hand. So you're here, boom, bah. Breathing, breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. You have to make sure you throw this other hand back, and then everything else is the same. You want to get into a deep hinge, throw the kettlebell way back, and then lock the hips at the top, lock the knees. Now, what was I gonna say? That is all. That is all. We went through it all. Guys, thank you guys for joining me. If you guys have any questions on your nutrition, on your training, on your programming, send me a DM on Instagram or TikTok saying Academy, and I would love to help you out, give you any advice that you need on programming, training, nutrition. Let's get it done. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.